Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for your practice. Um, I was fully intending on being present at Nebraska Zen Center this weekend until my family really came down with some hard illness with the flu. My wife's been sick for the past over a week now, and her energy has just not returned. And then on top of that, just before getting ready to come to NZC, my son came down with the flu, and he's running a temperature and anyways, a lot of the things are falling on me to take care of them, which I'm very happy to do. But I absolutely needed to be here and not with you. But of course, I feel the loss of not being able to be present with you, and because this is a special time, as we just chanted the various sutras for to honor the nirvana of the Buddha. So I'm glad we could all do that together. And I also want to honor everybody who's been sitting sesshin this past week or not week, the past few days at Nebraska Zen Center starting Friday afternoon. Sesshin is a very special time for us in the Soto Zen world. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to let go of things. It's a time to purify the mind. It's a time for nourishment of the body, mind, and spirit. It's a time to reflect on what makes meaning and sense for our lives. It's a time to change the direction if we need to. Um, Coincidentally, at this time right now, at the time of my speaking, another religion is practicing Ramadan, fasting from sunrise to sunset, and for a full month. So, these religious disciplines that we witness, whether it's Ramadan, whether it's sesshin. Sesshin my teacher would say that when you sit, you have some kind of spiritual discipline where you maybe meditate for 20 minutes a day or chant a short sutra. She said that's like getting a spoonful of Zen. And then she said, when you do sesshin for a weekend or a week, that's like getting a cup of Zen. So there's quantity, and this is a Soto Zen practice of sesshin where we really put aside as much as possible our daily routine and just let go of everything. But the purpose is to reintegrate back into our lives. The purpose of sesshin is to make our hearts softer, not more opinionated, not more hard-edged, but that we go along with our family more easily, that we're kinder, that we're gentler with people in our workplace, in our family. That's the purpose. And so I encourage you, because we don't have the equivalent of a Ramadan where people are both practicing strict religious discipline throughout a whole month together as a community with their families. We don't have that. So it's really upon us, it's incumbent upon each of us to learn how to integrate our practice with our daily life. Sesshin is somewhat removed from our daily life, but then we got to bring it back together. And so I hope that this Dharma talk will give you some hints maybe as how to do that. And I try to be an example of that as much as possible. Just as I said, I'm here with my family taking care of them. I have to be, so I'm kind of enforced to integrate. And again, I'm happy to do that. But I want to just make it clear that sesshin is meant to remove us slightly, but so that we get this bigger picture, bigger view. And that's what I want to talk about today, the big view, what we call big mind. My teacher would often say, get the big picture. Just as we would start to sit zazen, she'd say, get the big picture. And this big picture, this big mind, is one of the three minds that Dogen Zenji, our founder in the 13th century, talked about in his treatise on cooking our life. cooking in the kitchen. Keep in mind, Zen is very straightforward. It's very practical. It's about our everyday life. And that's why I say we need to integrate. We need to integrate. All this meditation practice needs to be integrated with our life. And so Dogen says we need three minds, three attitudes of mind or hearts, three ways of feeling, in our activity. And he talks about this in the context of the kitchen and chopping vegetables. But we can think about this in any context that we're in. So it's very, very practical for lay life, as much as it was in his time for priestly life. And it's also practical for Zazen. One of the things I've been pressing this weekend is that we need to have the balance of the compassion, of wisdom with compassion. Zen teachings, we tend to gravitate, as Westerners, we tend to gravitate towards the wisdom teachings, the teachings on emptiness. They're beautiful teachings, they're very important. But what I've seen over the 3 decades that I've been practicing is that we tend to overemphasize the wisdom elements at the expense of the compassion. These two wings of the bird. The bird doesn't fly with wisdom alone, right? It's not enough just to know the insight of reality and take it from there. We have to proceed with compassion. And this is where a lot of us fall short. Not that we're not compassionate people or capable of compassion, but we tend to overemphasize the wisdom element in this spiritual practice. So this is I'm just saying this to write that. And Dogen, in his treatise on cooking, he says these three hearts that we need. We need the joyful heart, we need the grandmotherly heart, and we need the big heart. I spoke about grandmotherly heart last time. And this is really the element of love. This is compassion. This is kindness. This is unconditional love. It's absolutely essential for our activity. When we're active in the world, that's the face we want to show. We don't need to impress people with our knowledge and wisdom of emptiness. Most people won't get that. Some might, but it often doesn't lead to what I think of as loving relationships. So this grandmotherly mind is essential to keep in mind. And I emphasize this now because now we're going to be talking about something that's more related to the emptiness teachings, the wisdom teachings, called big mind or big heart. And so the title I just came up with this talk is Big Mind, Big Bang, and in the kitchen. Big mind, big bang in the kitchen. Right? So it's not about something that's way out there. Big mind is not something that's way out there. It's actually right here, right now. And the same is true for the Big Bang. I'll get to that in a little bit. But we tend to think of these things as ungraspable, unreachable, beyond this moment. Right? Beyond this moment. But Zen is all about bringing these teachings, integrating them into our everydayness. And again, Dogen brings it into the everydayness of chopping vegetables, chopping carrots and onions, boiling tofu in your soup, or whatever you boil in your soup. Have anybody there raise your hand if you've heard of the name Joel Primack? Anybody heard the name Joel Primack? Nobody. Oh, you guys gotta check this guy out. He's on. You can find things about him, some short clips on YouTube. But he is a astrologer, astronomer, not astrologer. He's an astronomer, famous astronomer, and he just recently passed away. By the way, I want to send my deepest condolences to Diane Jurgensen for the recent loss of her brother. Thank you so much. I see you're with us today. Thank you so much for being with us, and our heartfelt condolences to your family and to yourself. May his transition go well. Yeah. So Joel Primack, he just recently passed away, but he is this astronomer that he's learned, along with several other physicists and scientists, that the makeup, the nature of the universe, and he expresses it with such surprise that there's what we've learned over the past few decades is just goes beyond what we ever could comprehend or imagine. He says that what we've come to learn is that everything in the universe, including the earth, including our being, including the stars up there in the heavens, including the galaxies, all of the matter of the universe is less than half of 1% of the entire universe. Right? Get your minds wrapped around that and put it into your zazen. I've been practicing with that. And here's a practical way that you can do that in zazen. Any of us can do that right now, is where you're just meditate on the number less than, or the equation. You can put a little equation, less than half of 1%, and just make that your mantra, right? And that's the observable universe as we know it. The rest, he says, is dark matter. And this dark matter is what rushes the galaxies apart from each other. Just amazing to think about. Dark matter is over 99% of the universe, and we can't understand it or comprehend it. All we see is less than 0.5%, right? So you can bring that into your zazen, and I find in a very effective way to just minimize our concerns about this particular moment, but at the same time, it's that less than 0.5% that we want to take our best care of, right? It's that less than, I mean, we're just, and of course, as individuals, we're one of, 8 billion individual people. Zen says, you got to take care of exactly what you're doing. That it's absolutely precious. I mean, at every atom in the universe, there is a Buddha sitting there. That's the Avatamsaka way of expressing it. It just simply means that everything that we do matters. Everything that it's just beyond expression, that every moment is an opportunity for the deepest living, the deepest loving, the entering into the mystery of this existence, of the wonder of this existence. And I see so many people in the hospital that are just bereft of purpose, of meaning, especially in a behavioral health setting. So many want to take their lives. And you probably know people that have already done that. I have friends that have done that. And it just rends my heart to know that. There's a lot of people out there, and I think a big part of I think Zen, honestly, I don't think Zen is for everybody, but I think Zen is a huge part of the solution. I think spiritual practice, when it's conjoined with modern science, is a huge part of the solution. We live in a world where we're bereft of a larger sense of meaning and purpose. And that's not been the case, even 100 years ago. People were clear about who they are, what their purpose was about, why they were here, where they were going. There's not that same sense today, in part because of globalization, and we're getting introduced to so many different ways of thinking and being. And there's a lot of good ways to think. There's a lot of good narratives out there. And Zen adds to that in a very positive way. So we want to talk about, how does Dogen, this is Joel Primack in our 21st century talking about the dark matter, and that if we trace this dark matter back, we trace the trajectory of the galaxies back, it comes to a singular point called the Big Bang, right? But my teacher, she said the Big Bang isn't just something that happened 14 billion years ago. It's something that's happening even right now. It's not, there's not a start, there's not an end point to it. Another way of talking about it is the expansion of the universe. But let's not get too much out of our heads or get too much into our heads and put this into our our activity that we're doing. This provides us so much inspiration and hope that we're part of this wonderful experience going on if we can remain aware of it, right? And so Dogen talks about big mind, right? Put the big mind into it. You've got to have big mind. You've got to get the big picture when you're chopping the vegetables, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're putting on your shoes. You got to have that big mind there. That's where it's in. It's not separate from your daily activity. It's not separate from your family. It's not separate from picking up the baby that's crying. It's not separate from putting the loved one into the ground when they pass away. It's all of that. All those that mind can be entered into this daily experience, the everyday experience. Dogen says it like this. He says, great mind is like a great mountain or a great ocean. It does not have any partiality or exclusivity. It does not have any partiality or exclusivity. Everything is included. Think about that. When you go to the mountain or go to a wild place, all the life that's there, right? On the mountain, you might see the trees. You might not see the newts. You might not see the snakes, but they're there underground, under rocks, the microorganisms, the worms, the ants climbing up the trees, the gopher, the beaver, all of those. They're all that. The birds in the tree, the eagles, those are parts of the big mind. They're aspects of our mind. They're part of us. They're our relatives. My teacher's name, incidentally, my transmission teacher, Daishin, her name is Daishin, means great circle. And to me, this great circle is the same as big mind. And she would say to us, her name was a reminder for her to never exclude anybody or anything from her practice, to never exclude, to be all inclusive of everyone and everything, even the things that bother us, even the people we don't like. And she said that was my practice, is to make my heart big enough so that it could include everybody. And I say that it's a practice because all of us have our edges there of what we can include. And we shut down. We shut down on certain people. We shut down on certain things. It's very easy to shut down. That's the natural tendency. That's our natural tendency, is to shut down when we receive things that we don't like. When we receive things that create suffering, not just for us, but for other people or for animals and plants, right? We shut down on information that creates us such pain, or we want to attack. That's normal. Spiritual practice, Zen practice, is opening to this to the extent that we can and remain stable in our minds and hearts. But we don't do it by ourselves. We don't do it by ourselves. We do it with the Buddha. We do it with the teaching, with the truth. We do it with the Sangha, with the community, all of us. We do it together. It's very hard to do that all by yourself. And I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it by yourself. Sawaki, so no separation between ourselves and others. Sawaki Kodo Roshi, the Japanese Soto master in the 20th century, he said, if Hitler ain't in your practice, you're not doing it right. Right? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know where people are with this, but I'm going to just say it anyways. If Trump is not in your practice, you're not doing it right. You know? The anxiety of this age is profound, profound anxiety right now. We don't know what the future will bring. This is this is what Soto Zen offers us. It offers us this don't know. I don't know. And this is in contrast to perhaps other religious teachings, and I don't want to put down, I'm not trying to put down other religious teachings, but there is a teaching out there that says we know that what's going to happen. When I die, I'm going to go to heaven. I hear that. I hear that often in the hospital with the people that I'm working with, the chaplain. And I don't mess with it. I don't try to correct it. I don't try to correct it, right? It's there. It's there, but and it could be very helpful. For some people, it's very, very helpful. One of the problems with that issue, though, and where Soto Zen can be corrective, is that we focus on taking care of this world, that this world is the world that we live in. And we don't get a ticket out. We don't get a ticket out. And that's a liberation right there. It's not all or nothing. It's our life right here. This is the chance. And I always refer, in my background, my religious upbringing is Catholic. And there's very powerful teachings within the Bible. So I don't want to be dismissive at all. I'm not. In fact, one of the quotes I often give from the Bible is from Jesus, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6. If you look around verse 20 to 30, somewhere in there, Jesus says, "Do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or drink, the clothing that you will wear. Look at the birds. They don't worry about where their food is going to come from. Look at the lilies of the field. They're even more splendid than King Solomon in all his glory." Anxiety will be there for tomorrow. He says, let tomorrow's anxiety take care of itself. He says, focus on what needs to be done here and now today. In a nutshell, that's what Jesus is saying. Focus on what he's not talking about simply follow me and then you'll go to heaven when you die. Right? Again, that might work for some people, but for a lot of us, and a lot of us have had some injuries or bruises from religious teaching, some trauma. So that doesn't always work for a lot of people, especially in this arena, in this circle, in Zen circles. People come here because they're looking for something that their own spiritual tradition didn't give them. So that's what I want to offer, is that we have this amazing religious tradition that really focuses on the here and the now. Dogen says, you should not regard a ton as heavy and a pound as light. This is his teaching in the kitchen. You should not regard a ton as heavy and a pound as light. But isn't that what we do? We regard a ton as heavy and a pound as light. We know when things are difficult. We know when things are easy. And Dogen's saying, don't discriminate. So this is just this is a frame of mind. This brings us to big mind. And we have loads of work in front of us, loads of work. Think of all of the things that are happening right now. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming when we think about our lives. It may be overwhelming in your personal life, making various decisions about your personal future or your family's future. But even on a global level, we're dealing with the acidification of oceans. We're dealing with the extinction of species on a massive scale, the same scale as the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. This is unprecedented for for the span of humans on this planet. We have never experienced this level of destruction and chaos. Political instability is even more and more obvious these days, right? Nitrates in our drinking water that are so high, they're creating cancers. The reasons for being anxious are there. And we need to not close ourselves off and pretend like this is going to just go away and some superhero figure is going to take care of us. That's not going to be helpful at this time. So Thomas Berry, the great, he calls himself a geologian. He was a former Catholic priest, but has written extensively about the connection between the ecological crisis. He says the ecological crisis is at heart a spiritual crisis. And he calls this work that we need to do, that we're called to in our age, this 21st century, this work that we are called to, he calls it the great work. And I think that's very appropriate for us and is very much in alignment with Soto teachings. The first vow, beings are numberless. I vow to free them all. Wow, what a vow, what a vow. Or Thomas Berry says, this is the great work of our time. We've got to roll up our sleeves. That's what Dogen says in the kitchen. You roll up your sleeves and you get to work. Don't think about a ton as heavy. You're going to move it anyways, right? We're going to move a ton together. We don't do this all by yourself. We do it together. We don't take refuge in the news. We take refuge in the Sangha, right? We don't take refuge in the president. We take refuge in the Buddha. We don't take refuge in lies. We take refuge in the truth, the Dharma. Right? The Dharma is my hand has 5 fingers. This is the truth. It's so basic. It's so right in front of our face that it eludes us almost. Like I say, that I love that saying from Dogen. My eyes are horizontal. My nose is vertical. That's Dharma. All right. Dharma can be found everywhere. The truth is found right here, right now. You are Dharma. Right? Your in-breath. This is Dharma. We breathe in the whole universe. There's no separation right now between us and the entire universe as we inhale, as we exhale. Wherever beings are, we're breathing together with all beings. So maybe a question we can ask is, what is this present moment demanding of us? This is what Dogen calls the Genjo koan, the koan of the present moment. Right? This is not something I can give to you. I can't give you that. That's not. I don't want to give anybody the answers. Your answers. It's your question. It's the question that Zen offers to you, and only you know the answer to that question. But I want to suggest it's this great fear and hopelessness that we are experiencing on many different levels right now that we need to bring into our Zazen. If we don't have that in our Zazen, right? If Hitler's not in our Zazen, if Trump's not in our Zazen, we're not doing it right. Put them in there. Put them in there. Why? Because that's the only way we're going to transform. If we're not in touch with the suffering of our life, not just our personal individual lives, but of our community, of our country, of our world, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? We need to be in touch with the real suffering of the world. And it's through that, it's through mindful presence of it. That's how we develop our compassion. It's through mindful awareness of the suffering that's around us and within us. We shine the light of mindfulness. We shine the light of mindfulness on this incredible grief that we may be feeling, on this incredible pain that we shine the light of. We don't do it. We don't make the transformation happen. The sun shines the light on the earth, and the earth produces the grass. We don't cause the grass to grow. It produces the flowers. It purifies the water. We don't do it. Our job, our work is to get out of the way. So we bring attention to it. We mindfully observe what's happening. And we might feel incredible loss. We might feel hopelessness. We might feel grief. We might feel anxiety. We might feel tremendous anger. And we just bring this loving, this grandmotherly mindfulness to what we're experiencing externally, internally. No distinction there. Externally, internally. No distinction. We bring it to that. And that's where transformation takes place. It's not us alone. It's not us doing something. We can act together. We act together as a Sangha, and we allow the Buddha to do that work. The last thing I want to mention is that this feeling of these feelings, hopelessness, anxiety, these feelings, if they're not there, then, well, I should say, if they're there, when they're there, this is the Buddha's finger on our heart's doorbell. And when we can open the door to them, when we can open the door to the Buddha, what we're doing is we're experiencing the immensity of this moment, which has the potential to fill us with an awe that I think no other human community previously has been capable of experiencing. Because of the stakes. The stakes are so high. The stakes are so high for us. And so to bring the difficulty. That's this lotus and mud. The lotus does not bloom without the muddy water that it's embedded within. And so us humans, we draw up that mud so that we can blossom. And who do we do it for? It's not for us, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. It's for the children, it's for the next generation. We need to keep the next generation. But one of the most powerful things we can do at this moment is to live a life of awe and joy. Right? The awesomeness of being alive. Wow, we don't know how long we've got as individuals. We don't know how long we've got as a species. Right? This is an amazing moment. We can be awe-filled, or it could be awe-full. Which one you want it to be, right? We create our world. This is what I've been talking about this past couple of weeks. We create our world through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions. Each one of us contributes to the creation of the world. So I want to close on this the saying from the Yavatam Saka Sutra. Just like a picture drawn by an artist, so are all worlds made by the painter mind. Right? We are the artists. We are the artists of our world. Don't let somebody else paint your world for you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everything that I've shared with you today, from my understanding, I want to just add here, everything I've shared with you today is middle of the road Soto Zen teaching. It's middle of the road. And Soto Zen is not a fringe spiritual tradition. It's right in the center. And if you go to Japan, it's one of the largest branches of Buddhism that there are in Japan. I think second only to the Pure Land School, but it's very much mainstream, and it's a denomination. And in the United States today, we are in the process of getting Soto Zen recognized as a denomination. We come from a very long history, long tradition, and the chanting that you guys did is a recognition of that tradition that we come from. These robes that we wear is a recognition of that tradition. It's centuries long. And of course, we go back to the Buddha 2,500 years ago. But we have our own particular flavor for things. So it's just something to keep in mind. And I hope that these teachings, along with the myriad religious teachings in the United States, becomes more middle of the road mainstream teaching. It's not something out on the fringes. It's something that, in my own training, I'm a professional clergy person. That's what I do. And part of that is spending time with you guys. Part of it is in my own Sangha. Part of it is teaching world religions. I studied in college, I studied interfaith dialogue. I did my thesis on that. And then I work at the hospital with folks. So I look to you guys, my hope is that you look to me as a resource. I'm only with you once a month, but I really want to invite you all to reach out to me for spiritual support. I've been through a lot of training, 15 years with my teacher living in Zen monasteries. I've been through the gamut of rituals and things that make me a Soto Zen priest. So we have this rich tradition, and I am available for you guys. People will say, well, he's very busy. It's true, I am busy, but I will make time for you. And so call me, 515-520-3113. Email me, Daishin@zenfields.org, and we will make the time. We will make the time to be together, because this practice is so important. That's how I feel about this practice. It's so important. Do not waste time. Do not waste time in grief and anxiety and loss more than you need to. We can shift it around. We can shift it around, and there's lots of work to do. So if you're wondering what you should be doing, it's not about me telling us, but Zen is about relationship. It's a relational practice. It's not just individual. So those are my parting words. I will close there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daishin.
And actually, in connection with that, certainly if you have questions that you want to talk about, we don't have time right now, then that's another reason to reach out. But I also want to say that Nebraska Zen Center pays me. They pay me for my time, and so we need, the money that I receive is so that I can be of service to you all, and also the Zen Center needs money. So if you have the means to give, even small amount, then please do.